Welcome to the Birth Protectors podcast with Rahelios and Celeste, where couples seeking a deeply intimate home birth experience come together.
Join us as we explore how choosing unassisted birth is not just a powerful act of love, but also a transformative way to build a passionate marriage and a strong, connected family. It's absolutely crazy how fast life goes by, how fast your kids grow up. And, you blink your eyes and all the plans you were making and everything can just pass right by. Your kids who seemed like they were tiny little kids a couple of days ago, and all of a sudden they're grown. A lot of our kids are over 18 now, and it's just blown my mind how quickly it went. And I've been spending a lot of time lately just thinking about how much I wish I would have spent more time with them, and how I'd like to spend more time with the ones we still have at home. Lucky for us, we have kids spanning long age range. As I think about our life and hear from other people and other families, especially, I guess, just in our case, with the kind of people that we talk to and listen to and things like that are kind of wanting to break out of the system, and they're family-oriented, entrepreneurial types and things, and but everybody's wondering, how do you end up being home with your family? Like if you're gonna birth your kids at home, then you want to homeschool them, things like that. For sure, at least mom needs to be home. That's a definite. And these days, it's like that's even rare. The way the economy is, the way life is now, usually mom has to work and dad has to work, and so the kids go to school, and that's just all there is to it. It's just there's this economic pressure that seems to be just getting greater and greater, and so I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat, just going, well, how do I stay home? And so some of us managed to get mom home full time. If you can do that, even that's a great trick. But then what about dad? And I've heard this term recently, the trad wife or whatever. I don't know, it's some kind of thing, but it's traditionally, mom used to stay home way back in the day, and we're kind of wanting to bring that back. But the trad dad, which is kind of that popped in my head. It's not really a thing that anyone says, but what does the trad dad do? And the same thing he's always done, which is go to work. Somebody's got to do it. And the truth is that you're gone. You're not really there to raise your kids. You see them in the evenings, if you're lucky, and a little bit on the weekends. And if you're anything like me, where I was not ever satisfied with that, so ever since before I got married, I was preoccupied with this idea that I need to find a way to beat that system, because I don't want to just be the dad on the nights and weekends. I want to be there for my family. I've always known that. It was always super important to me. But it ended up in this struggle where, because I needed to find a way to break out of the system, when I would come home from work, I wouldn't just relax and now I'm going to focus on my family. And on the weekends, I didn't just relax and say, now I want to focus on my family, because I was always trying to create something else. I needed a way out of the job, a way out of the 9 to 5. And it's been crazy. I've, over the years, so with Celeste and I, she's worked some, and I've had a job on and off. I've had a couple of different careers, but I've also managed to spend a large part of our life where both of us were actually home, and I was, for the most part, working from home, or at least self-employed, doing a variety of different things that I do between music and teaching music and doing construction and odd jobs. And I was kind of like fixing musical instruments, and I would find all these ways to just make ends meet so I didn't have to just have the full-time job. But oftentimes that ended up being more than a full-time job because it was never steady. It was never, the money, whenever I was self-employed, which again was a large part of our marriage, it's just a struggle. It's been a struggle nonstop. As self-employed, always looking for jobs here, looking for work, looking for, where's my next job gonna be, the next gig, so that I can get paid. And somehow I always managed to make just enough that we could get by. And I'm really thankful for that. I've been thankful for that. But more and more, it got to where it's like, ugh, like I didn't want to be broke anymore. Because it always felt like we were kind of broke, struggling. Like we had enough, but it was just enough. And I'm sure this just sounds like everybody's story, because it is. As I look around, it's whether you're working or not, it's like everybody seems to barely have enough, or actually more like not quite enough is actually what we're all dealing with. So most recently, I've kind of gone back into the full-time workforce. I'm working, I got a pretty good job right now. That's the standard 8 to 5 days a week. I'm making a good check, and the steady money's been really nice. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, how do you get out of this? So this is something, like I said, that I've been working on our entire lives, focusing, and now recently, I've finally started to figure some things out, getting some good advice from some different people, and we're trying some things, and so I've kind of decided to let's share this journey. And Celeste is sitting here next to me. I don't know if she wants to say anything. She'll jump in. But I know if you've been listening to this podcast at all, or if you've heard or you choose to listen to any of the previous episodes, we're mostly talking about birth and things like that. Maybe a little bit about homeschool. And these are all the things that we're really into and that we do. But as we've been talking about, realizing that people are really the fundamental struggle, first of all, if you want to break free, break out of the system, is that how do you create that where how can you be home? So you can homeschool. It's like a pretty simple question, right? So we decided to kind of, let's talk about that a little bit, since we're really in that journey and we're in that struggle. I've been learning a lot financially, realizing that it's really just the mindset change, which actually is how it is with everything. With how do you homeschool? It's a mindset change. Well, how do you, find the right health advice if you're not going to doctors? It's a mindset change. Well, how do you have your babies at home without learning all of these things? It's a mindset change. So many times it's always the same thing. But you have to get good advice from somebody somewhere along the way, or figure it out. And some people manage to figure it out all on their own. I don't think anybody does anything all on their own, really. We're always observing and learning from others, whether we're learning from their mistakes or we're lucky or fortunate enough to have somebody in our life that's giving us really good advice. The wealthy, the quote wealthy, they're not there because they're lucky. They're not there. Some people say, well, it's just in their DNA. It's in their genetics. It's because they come from a wealthy family, so they make money automatically. It might seem like that, but it's not actually some magical genetic thing. Their programs of lifestyle are passed on genetically to some extent, that's for sure. But you can be sure that when they come from wealthy families, these are people who already have learned a lot of these lessons, and so they're getting a lot of really good advice their entire life. And you don't get this kind of advice. And when I say this kind, I mean how to become wealthy. And I'm not about to give you this advice because I'm not wealthy yet. But you don't get advice on how to become wealthy at school. And definitely not in public school, but not in college, not at the university level. It's not a class that you can take. And so if you don't come from people who already know that really well, who are already living that lifestyle. They know what they're talking about because they're living it. If you're not in that situation, then you're left kind of out there looking. And so we go online, we go on the internet, we listen to different people, and most of these people are trying to basically just wanting to profit by selling us their thing, whatever it is, not necessarily giving us the sound advice that is very definitely and assuredly going to lead to wealth generation over time. Because there is a path, and there are certain things that the wealthy just do that start with very fundamental things like never spend everything that you make. When you get a check, whether it's from your job or your business or whatever, you got to spend less than you make so you can do other things and generate wealth with your money, things like this. It's those kind of fundamental things. It's not about just getting rich quick, starting some business, making some crypto investment that suddenly you get wealthy, or winning the lottery. It's all the versions of winning the lottery, or just think yourself into wealth and all the versions of that. Vision yourself into wealth. Of course that's a part of it, but there's so much more, and it's just fundamental and real. And so I'm kind of wrapping my head around that. And I've also got there's some people that are mentors that I've been finding and that I've actually teamed up with recently. As I'm learning, I've actually have an opportunity where I've been able to buy a couple of SaaS companies, software as a service companies, and also some affiliate opportunities, where my mentor, and his name's Russell Brunson. He's a really cool guy. And his mentor, Dan Kennedy, these are some people that have really classical fundamental knowledge in the area of kind of building a business, if that's something that you're interested in doing. Obviously, if you want to be home, work from home, find a way out of the quote system, being an entrepreneur is one of the ways, and that's something that I've always had kind of running in my blood, I guess you could say. I've been working on the WizAx. I've got an invention that's we have in production right now that we've been working on for like 10 years, and that's been a really interesting journey there that we're still in. And so I'm learning from some mentors, and like I said, I've kind of got this opportunity to pass on their knowledge. So because if you're listening to us and kind of wondering, well, how do you stay home? How do you get yourself in that position? Well, the best thing I can do right now is kind of point you to the people that I'm learning from as I'm learning. And so that's kind of a new part of what we're going to be doing here. And we decided to change the name of our podcast to Families Breaking Free. And that's going to become kind of our membership, our community, because that's the bigger picture. Like, why do you choose to birth at home? Why do you choose to homeschool? Or people that just want to break free from the system are going to find that they tend to go in that direction, to start thinking about homeschooling, home birthing, and things like that. And how do you kind of get into that mindset where you can just break free from the programs that I like to call them, that are out there, so that you can have a different life, a life that's just more free and more close to home, close to family, close to nature, and just really, tight with your kids and your wife, and building something that matters, that's close to your heart, without stressing out about all the things that are going on around us right now. Because holy cow, it seems like it just gets crazier and crazier here on planet Earth, doesn't it? But there is a way to break free from so many of those things. And certainly something we've done, as you may know, or as you'll learn as you get to know us. We've had 10 kids. All of them were home birth. I mean, that's been a huge, completely just head change, life change, fundamental change. And then the fact that our kids have never gone to school, none of them. And this is, of course, was a big experiment at first. We didn't know how it would turn out, and it's turning out really well. Like we would definitely not change those things. And our kids are really healthy. They don't go to doctors. We don't have like standard medical practitioners and go to the medical system just isn't really a thing in our life. And we've been really fortunate to not have hardly any accidents or things like that would force us to really need the medical system. So that's been great. And that's, again, kind of what we're about. So families breaking free, we'd love to connect with other families who are like-minded, who are thinking about, when we say breaking free, what are you breaking free from? Well, the system is, I guess, the all-encompassing term. There's, depending on how you think of it, that's not a real thing, but then again, it kind of is, because if you look around, everybody is, there's definitely a system, and systems are good. We need systems to run society and to have a country and a government and business and money and exchange, and, to have cars built and technology, and all of these things require systems. So systems are not bad, but we use the term the system as this kind of arch enemy that puts you in this mindset of just kind of being an automaton and doing the same thing everyone else is doing, that leaves you feeling like you're basically running on a hamster wheel that gets nowhere. So we'd like to break free from that and invite you on this journey with us as well. There's so many facets to breaking free that lead to a completely different life and a different perspective on what this life is about. And again, we'd love to meet more of you and actually start having a kind of a more of a community experience where we can talk and share ideas and share what we're learning and help each other, and and our kids maybe can play and get to know each other and things like this too. So that's what we're about. I guess Celeste didn't have anything to say this time.
I wasn't sure where it was going.
It's going where we are. So, okay. I'll be talking to you again soon, I'm sure. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful time. I'm Rahelios, my wife Celeste. And again, we're Families Breaking Free. There'll be a website soon, familiesbreakingfree.com. Right now, you can find us at figfam.com, where there's a lot of those tools that I have made available. And there's more coming, and some softwares that are really good for building a business online, and some educational materials from my mentors, people that I'm learning from right now currently, and my mentors as well. Again, I've been able to team up with them and offer some really cool stuff that's helped me a lot, and some cool, some tools that you can use. And then our other stuff is on there. Our music is on there. The Wizax is on there. And that's kind of our family. It's like my last name is Figueroa, and we go by Fig Fam, the Figueroa family. And so if you go to figfam.com, you can find out more about us. That's always going to be kind of the central hub. figfam.com. All right. We'll be looking forward to talking to you again more in the future. Have a wonderful day.